There's me at the top there, Colin. I'm the chairman of this company. We've got Peter, who's an oil man, who's our non-exec director, and Joe is our finance director. Joe Silberstein. Mozambique. What do we know about Mozambique? It's a good place to work. Next to Zimbabwe, pretty easily accessible. I think on the African assessments of places to work in Africa, it figures quite well. You get your money in, you can get your money out. The hostilities have generally finished. Occasionally there's a bust-up, but a good place to work. And it's only about 8 kilometers from Matari, which is obviously the other side of the border in Zimbabwe. And the geological system we're working on extends well into Zimbabwe. So we're quietly confident that there may be opportunities to go into Zimbabwe on the same geological system. It makes sense. What is interesting about Zimbabwe as well, just to dwell slightly on Zimbabwe, is that, you know, Zimbabwe is surrounded by companies who've got massive mining cultures, big mines and what have you, and yet Zimbabwe has always had a small mining culture. So there are basically investment-ready opportunities just over the border to do much of what we're doing in Manica. We've got a project which has been well studied. It's been the subject of an independent feasibility study. And there's 1.2 million ounces there. It's low cost, it's ready to build. We're going to build a small plant, and that's because, let's face it, this company made lots of promises and delivered none of them. And so I'm risk-averse, absolutely risk-averse. And so we've designed a project which will do about 35 ounces per year for 7 years. But it has, that uses about 300,000 ounces. But it has the ability to go down further and be developed from the open pit into an underground mine. And that's certainly doable and feasible, practical, and has been done all around the world. So there you go, this Manica Fairbride mine. It's an open pit, 7 years. We do 42,000 tons per month. Total ounces produced is 215. We're working on a grade of about 2.62. On a gold price of 1,262, you've got an internal rate of return of 41%, direct cash cost of $556 an ounce, and all inclusive 862. So in the grand scheme of things, margins are even better now because gold's about 1,350, 1,345, something like that. Obviously, margins are better than forecast then. Because this company made so many promises and delivered so badly, I elected to take over from non-executive chairman to chairman. I took the operating cost down from £2.3 million per year to £550,000 per year. I closed the operation in Chile, which quite frankly was never going to work. A lot of people left, and we settled on Manica. And I decided from that minute, when I walked into the company, after getting a phone call saying the CEO was on his bike, that we could not ever again compromise our shareholders, and things had to be done properly and promises had to be met. And so we went into alluvial mining, which was instant and ready, employing contractors, not using our own capital. And I'm happy to say that those operations are now up and running. We've got cash in the bank. We are building up our tonnage on a regular basis. We've had a few threats from the rains, but the operation, the alluvial operation, which is the precursor to this operation, is profitable, and the model works very, very well. And why have I jumped the presentation to say that? Well, the reason is that the Manica Gold Project, we are so happy with the way the Chinese have worked on our alluvial projects that we've seen the expertise, the NAS, the technical excellence, the work ethic, that then a couple of groups now are talking to us about building this for us, lock, stock and barrel, and giving us a royalty. Whether that royalty is 15% or 20% has to be scrapped out, you know, fought out with the guys. But isn't that a nice, what a joy. Somebody comes along, they build your mine, they operates it, they puts in their capital, and you get a nice slug of money back. I mean, if you multiply 35 million ounces by $1,300, that's 25, that's a third, that's about $33 million. Let's assume the margin, 33 million. You should be into about $20 million profit. You know, a fifth of that, $4 million a year for not doing anything. It's an infinity return on investment because you haven't made any other than the acquisition of the concession. What a joy! And as I say, I've had some shareholders. We've spent an hour, an hour ago, really beating me up on the fact that these alluvials are not producing enough. You said. And that's why I'm standing here and they're sitting there, because they put their money in the belief that management will make a return on that money for them, will grow a company. And what I said to them this morning, and what I'm going to say in this room, the alluvials are working, they're cash positive, we've got lots of little schemes going on, and I'm absolutely sure we will build up that income. We will build up the income so that our friends from wherever they are in the trade will come and build our Manica mine, make good profits, and our shareholders see a company returning the growth that we promised. It's worth £8 million at the moment, the company. Frankly, it's worth a stack more than that. Difficult to get recognition for what we've done. But, you know, if I step back, what have we done? We've got the people to the west. We've got a 50-50 deal with them. They built a plant worth 6 or 7 million, don't know what to do with it. So we're going to co-venture with them. We've got the people to the north. They're ready to give us their property. We might even be able to acquire the property to the west. We've made an investment, a passive investment, or a aggressive investment in one of the contractors. We'd lent them $400,000. Where did that come from? From cash flow. So we basically funded the operation. We funded the assistance we've given to one of the contractors. We've now got their plant if we want it. We've now got 25% of their investment, of their operation if we want it. So I believe, not shared by the shareholders, I'm afraid, but I believe in 7 or 8 months we've made tremendous progress and the door is open for a stack more. Regional potential, exploration potential, well, there's stacks of that as well, because we talk about opening the Fairbride project, but there's other names you'll see there, all of which have got reserves and resources, which have been drilled, investigated. And the amazing thing about this area is that, you know, within 500 meters, the metallurgy can completely change. You can go from free milling mineralization to actually locked up sulfide, very difficult mineralization. So that's why the ultimate plant that we build has got to be fit for purpose. And that's why with our one person at the moment, the Chinese group are very keen to work with us. They want to build their plant and we're insisting that it's our plant, it's our design. I talk about alluvial deposits there, so we've used the term and I jumped the gun, but I don't mind jumping the gun because isn't it boring to sit here going through a presentation everybody can read? So I jumped the gun and I don't apologize for it. Alluvial deposits are rivers, old rivers, essentially. They slowed down, they speeded up, they got banked, they deposited their gold, and then over time, sediments build up on top of them, and so there sits these gravel beds, which were old rivers, and inside there is various portions of gold. The one big thing about it, they're loose, they're free, and they are where you find them, and that's the bad thing. And that's why not many public companies do alluvials, because by definition, if you're bringing a shareholder into a company to mine a mining resource, he's got to know how many tons are there, how much gold is there, what's the capital employed, what's the return on investment. Alluvials do not give you that luxury. You know how good alluvial deposit is or was when you've done, and it might be too late. But as I say, what I'm seeing, we've only been at it 6 or 7 months, I'm seeing basically a good surplus of income over expenditure, and I'm optimistic that situation is going to increase. I've said to the shareholders I was talking to, one of them got a big position in the company, and thank you for that, is that if we can get a combined 25 kilograms into the company per month, I'm an happy bunny. I know that some months will be 40 or 50, and provided they don't drop below 25 kilograms per month, we're going to be making good money for our shareholders with the odd great month and with the odd not so good month, but I'll be very surprised if we drop below profit. There's the companies who are working with us. Sino is the Chinese group. Sino Minerals. Mosgold is a South African group who work the kimberlites, the gold, the diamonds down in Kimberley. And Omnia is an Arabian group who essentially got loads of money and have actually spent a nice job. And they were ready for the off. And then you won't believe it, David, such a lovely block of alluvial that they're mining and making good money at the moment. And but we're partnering with them on the hard rock. So again, good opportunities. There we are. There we're sitting with the Chinese group. One of the Chinese guys, the leader, the boss. And that's our first gold pour. And on the right-hand side, that slide, that shows the digging to actually access the gravels. Fairbride, I've talked about Fairbride. It's 1.25 million ounces, and we're only working the first 250,000 for a start. The reason for that is low risk, quickly into production, nice grade 2.26, with all of the options available to go deeper and to do very much of the same, provided we've got the correct plant in place. So I say at the bottom, low risk, high margins, and maintaining optionality. I wrote that some months ago. I'm not budging. That's the plan, that's the mission, and that's what's available to us. Again, that's the Fairbride. I'm not going to go on and on. That's how the picture looks of the pit that we're going to develop. Again, more and more geological modeling shows it's quite a steep body. There's the Manica town, which is close by. There's the topography, and there's the trend of the ore bodies relative to the topography. Fairbride, Guy Fawkes, and Dotslock, they're surrounding properties. And as I say, different mineralization over very small areas. Compelling investment case. We're producing cash. We're going to develop a simple open pit. We're going to job it out so we don't have to find the capital. And we're going to do much of the same by going over the border into Zimbabwe and possibly other small gold mining situations. Thank you for your time. They're bossing me about, and I've got to shut up.